Spiritual dementia, amnesia. What if you can't remember shit? Hello, this is Shows on Infinity with your host Chris speaking, and today about a phenomenon that many on the path to enlightenment, not many, the honest people on the path to enlightenment mention is spiritual amnesia or spiritual dementia, as some people call it. It feels like you're going soft in the head and you can't remember shit anymore. Is that normal? Yes, it is. The short answer is yes, it is. Imagine why this could be. Eckhart Tolle, for example, he's talking a lot about being in the moment and the power of now. If you're really in the now, then you don't think about the future or the past. That's the whole point. Or it's the other way around, actually. If you don't think, if your thinking stops, if you can stop your world, as Castaneda puts it, your thinking stops. You can switch it on if you like, for example, if you go shopping and you need to calculate. Otherwise, there's nothing happening in your head. Your mind is quiet at last. No more unbidden babbling. When your thinking stops, you're in the moment. And if you're in the moment and there's no thinking about the past or the future, then something happens that we can call spiritual amnesia, spiritual dementia. It's not really amnesia or dementia. It's not that your brain is going down. There's no brain destruction going on. It's just whatever's left of the mind, it doesn't see any purpose in remembering stuff because it's not important. If the now is important and not the past or the future, then what's the point? It just goes on standby. The mind goes on standby, not the brain, but the mind. It can even feel as if you're going stupid. Yeah. I had also periods like that where I thought, okay, now my intelligence is going, I don't know where. It usually comes back at some point. Also, these stretches of amnesia, of not being to remember shit, if you don't write it down, they come and go. But it's something you should be aware of and not frightened of. These are normal states. They have to happen. They have to happen. Because usually our mind is totally obsessed with the past or the future or some shit that it's telling itself all the time. Especially self-loathing. It's like, you're stupid, you're ugly, you're fat, and whatever. You will never make it. These negative, self-critical, self-deprecating stuff, this falls away. This is probably also why Jeffrey Martin calls it well-being. It's not that you're feeling particularly well, only the ugly stuff also disappears with all the thinking process, the usual automatic thinking and babbling process in the head. Maybe you even remember that if any of you anyway at some point tried out some entheogens like ayahuasca or so, then you can also be for some minutes or hours in the present. And in the present, only the present counts. Nothing else in space and time is important. And this is also why you can't remember anything. If you know that everything is Maya in the end, why would there be a need to remember details? They're unimportant. In day-to-day life, this can go on your nerves, of course. Yeah? If you probably, many of you have a job and a family and so on, and that can be really weird not to remember stuff. So just write it down. put post-it somewhere, or have a calendar that reminds you in the phone, or as a book, whatever is your style, whatever floats your boat. Find out how to remind yourself of mundane important stuff like appointments. Your mind will be on standby for a while, or again and again, and it may take years to recalibrate your mind, to restart your mind, to find these higher functions of the mind, or maybe it's something else, not the mind. Anyway, Aurobindo and some Indians, they call it higher functions of the mind, or higher mind. I wouldn't call it mind anymore, but it's a translation problem. In Sanskrit, they have several words for the mind, several words for love, several words for consciousness, and so on. And in English, we only have this one word. So it's actually a translation problem, but if you like, you can call it higher mind. I think it's confusing. But anyway, there are some other faculties that can take over. Intuition and other thinking processes that are not automatic and self-loathing, that are not obsessed, that are not traumatized. Many people on the spiritual path, they long for this automatic thinking and internal dialogue to stop. Not knowing that this can be uncomfortable too. There's a whole Facebook group of people to whom this has happened. Most of them not enlightened, but it can happen to anyone that suddenly thinking stops, because it's not a natural process. This what we call thinking, this automatic inner dialogue that is often obsessed and self-loathing. It's not a natural process. It's part of our culture. It has emerged in our culture because our culture is so restless and negative. So of course it can stop any time. And then what? Yeah, then it's a big shock. And even to people, it's a big shock to people who haven't wanted it to happen. But those who have wanted it to happen for years or decades, and it suddenly happens, it's still a shock. And you're a bit worried that you're going soft in your head, that you're going stupid. You're not. It's just the old mode of your mind happening and your brain functioning is changing into a new mode. It's like a chrysalis state, yeah? First you have the caterpillar, then the chrysalis, then the butterfly. In the chrysalis state, this spiritual amnesia or spiritual dementia can happen. Don't worry about it. Write yourself reminders and wait until the butterfly comes. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you for listening, subscribing, giving the thumbs up, joining me on Patreon, and thanks of course to all those who have already joined me on Patreon. Thank you very much.